Okay, so let's start today's class. So today we're going to start our new module, that is module number 3, right? And I hope everyone they have like gone through their old module revision, right? Today we're going to start module 3, and here we learn about web proxies, right? So we learn how we can intercept the request and response. Now let's understand what is web proxies. So here we have the user and here we have the server, right? Now we know that we have seen in HTTP and everywhere that we make request to the server, right? And on basis of our request, server accepts our request and give the response, right? Now we can simply intercept this part. Okay, what thing directly goes in the internet, we can directly intercept this. Now what is intercept? Intercept simply means that we can capture this thing, okay, what is traveling throughout the internet. Got it? Now we have a tool. This tool is called a proxy. It is simply a tool. It is called proxy. Whenever we make a request from user, it directly goes to the proxy. We can analyze how the request, the response is going on. If we forward, then only this request directly goes to the server. Now server sends the response. Again, we can capture the response. We can change the response also, because browser don't know now what is the response, because we have captured the response, right? We can send the response and we can check how the browser or how the web application react. Simply, if we do something, let's say we have a login page, right? Or we have a enter your amount page. Now in our browser we cannot type minus symbol because browser stops us. In this case, what we can do is we can simply enter amount, intercept, capture the request, and here we can edit this thing. We can add minus or we can add anything, whatever we want, and simply we forward this request to the server. Now it's totally depends on the server how the server reacts. Okay, is that clear? Any confusion here? What is proxy? Okay, now let's see. We know that in today's modern web application relies on the backend, right? We have we have backend components, and we have dynamic data, right? If we log in, we receive different data. If other person log in, he receives or she receives a different data, right? And in order to check how this happens, we use proxies to capture these types of requests. Now what is proxies? So proxy basically is a simple tool that we can set up in our browser, right? And it acts as a man in the middle. So we are in the middle and we are capturing the request from our browser to the server. Okay, now we have other tools like network sniffing tools like Wireshark that we have seen in our web request module, right? Where we have seen how we capture HTTP request. Now this type of tool can analyze all type of a local traffic on a network, right? But web proxies focus on web traffic, especially that runs on port 80 and port 443. But again, as we have know that this is not the only port that we have to do, right? That we have to check. This port can be changed and it is totally depends on the developer, right? And why we need a web proxies? So web proxies are very important tool for web pen testing because they're simply capturing and uh, replying a web request, right? So we can capture the request, we can change the request, we can send it, we can capture the response, we can change the response, right? And we can send. Now, in today's world, in today's time, we have graphical tool, right? So we have all the options here. So we have option to capture, we have option to forward, we have option to delete, this type of thing. This is called, what it is called? We have learned this thing, right? GUI, right? So this is the graphical user interface tool. Previously, we don't have this much of this type of tool. So previously what we have CLI based tool. Okay, so previously what we have CLI based tool. We have to type command, and the basis of command it's going to capture the network traffics. So here are some CLI based tool used in past for capturing and analyzing network traffic, including the TCP dump, Shark. So T-Shark is a command line tool and GUI is Wireshark. Now, we don't just use web proxies to capture the request, but web proxies allows other features also. So we can scan the vulnerability, we fuzz the web application, we crawl the web application, we map the web application, and web application obviously request analyzing, then web configuration testing, then code reviews also we can do with web proxies. Okay, is that clear? Okay, so we this term we learn in practical, right? But for now I'm going to tell you what is web fuzzing. Now let's say we have a server, right? So we don't know what we have in the server, right? So in server we have different parts, we have different folders, right? So this is a folder for login. In login we have login.php. This is a folder of dashboard. In dashboard we have dashboard.xyz. We have to find what type of location we have in our web server, right? And we use one technique called fuzzing. So fuzzing is basically it simply finds the directories that are available on the server by doing the brute force attack. Okay, so it is basically finds the hidden directories on the server because we don't have the access to the server, right? And that's why we use this type of technique. There are a lot of technique in hacking we use, and this is one of them. Now, most popular proxies we have is Burp Suite and Zap. Okay, now Burp Suite pronounced as Burp Suite or Suite. Okay, most people says that it is Burp Suite. Okay, SUIT, but it is pronounced as Burp Suite. Got it? Is that clear? So please pronounce like this. Okay, don't pronounce Burp Suite, pronounce Burp Suite. So it's the most common web proxies for web pen testers, right? So we have some restrictions because this is a paid tool, right? We have some restrictions. So some of the paid features only. We have the paid features, right? So we have active web scan, fast burp intruder, right? The ability to load certain burp extension. We can add some extension, okay, on our burp suite. Now that is the paid features. We have the free features also. For the module, we can simply go with the free features. Now we learn what is the difference in paid one and the free one. Okay, so here this is the link of a burp. Okay, so we can simply try the professional for free. Okay, so it is saying that no credit card required. So I think 7 or maybe 15 days they give the trial version, and we can simply use this. Okay, now Amazon, NASA, and this type of companies use web proxies to check the interface or to check the or to analyze the requests. Got it? So you can what you can do is you can simply go in uh, the link. Okay, I'm going to share you the link. I'll share you. And what you can do is you can start download the Burp Suite. Right? Is that clear? But for the lab, we have the Burp Suite in your machine. Okay. Now I'm going to start the machine and I'm going to show you how we can do this. Okay. Is my screen visible? Is my screen visible? Am I audible? Yeah. So here we have the Linux operating system, and here we have the Burp Suite. Okay, Burp Suite here we can simply click on it, right, and we can simply open it, right. You don't have to configure it, just open this. So this is a community edition. Now community edition means a free edition. Okay, so we have two types of edition in Burp Suite. So this is a port swigger website that's on the Burp Suite. We have the community edition and we have the pro edition. Now community edition is totally free for us to use and download, but community edition is slow. And then we have the professional edition, and we will have this thing, a burp scanner that scans the website so fast in pro edition, and we have other things also. So this is the amount, for $50 per year for one user, right. So you can simply watch this article regarding the burp, and this is the community edition that is totally free. So we can simply use this one for free. Okay, and you'll get this in most of the Linux. Okay? So here also we have the same thing. So this is the icon of Burp Suite. Did you see here the favicon? Yeah. So this is the same icon here. You just have to click it and start it. Now, as you install the normal software, you have to install it the same way. Just click next and use Burp as a default. Just be as with default options. Now it's gonna start the Burp Suite, and this is how the Burp Suite will look like. Okay, we have a dashboard. Just go in dashboard. This is how your dashboard will look like. Now we have a target, we have a proxies, we have intruder, repeater, collaborator, sequencer, decoder, comparer. We'll use everything. Okay. Now we have an extension here. We can use extension also, right? We can choose any extensions also, but I think in free community edition we have the limitation of extension also, right? So let's understand what we have in dashboard. We have a task, right? We have a new scan. Obviously this is a free, so we're not able to do what, we're not able to, I guess, scan the network or scan the target. Now we have a new live task. If we click here, we have this thing. We can set up our web application to scan. Okay, we can configure this thing. Again, this is also not for this is also not for community edition. This is also available in professional editions also. Okay, but for us, simply go in target. Now we have understand what we have in desktop, right? Is there anything that you want to ask? Any doubt, any question? Any question? Am I audible? Okay, so please, whenever I ask, it's better if you reply, right? That I can know if there is any doubt or not. So we have a target, right? And we have this thing, open browser. We can use default browser that we have in Burp Suite. So Burp Suite provides us the special browser that we don't have to configure it. If you want to use your own browser, you have to configure it. I personally recommend you to go with the like Burp Suite browser, right? And here, what you can do is you can type anything. Let's say I'm going to type Facebook. If I hit enter, it directly open the Facebook. We have a proxies here. Just go in proxies. Now, did you see the interception is on, right? So intercept is on, right? So this request directly comes here in my proxy. I have this option, forward and drop. If I forward this, then again this request directly goes to the server. If I drop it, then the request don't go to the server, right? Got it, this one? Yeah. So wait. So we try to search facebook.com, right? We capture this request in our proxy. So this is our proxy. We have captured this request. Now we can perform some certain options, like we can forward this request to the server. We can drop this request, or it simply means we can cancel this request. If we cancel this, it don't go to the server and we don't receive the response. If we forward this request directly goes to the server, right? And here we can see that this is a request from google.com to facebook.com. We know what is get, right? We know what is URL. We have covered everything. And we know that here we have the search parameter, and here we are searching facebook.com. And we know what is host, right? So here we have google.com. So we are in google.com and we are searching facebook.com. Now we can forward this request. So if we forward this request in our uh, browser, we see that acha, this is what we got in response. And in our proxy, we see that this is the second request, right? Second request going on. So let's forward this again. This is the third request. Here we have the request, right? So we can identify this is a request or response. And we have already learned how a response and how a request will look like, right, in HTTP. So this is what we have in HTTP. And this is how request response goes on. This is also a request. If I drop it, so if I simply drop it, it won't go to the server, and our browser simply shows an error. So it didn't load. See, it didn't load properly, right? Did you see here it didn't load properly? So this is what happened if you drop a request. If I drop it at a first stage, it shows me the error, right? Let's say I'm going to open this facebook.com, right? Now it is loading. Uh, and if I drop this, if I drop it, this is what we get here. So Burp Suite community error, right? So it is simply going to throw us the error because this request won't complete it, right? So again, we have to reload it, and this time let's forward this. If we forward this, then this is again uh, our Facebook redirect us in login, right? So we have the location here. Again, this forward. We can simply turn off the interception, okay? So I'm going to turn off the intercept. So if I turn off, then I don't have or I don't receive I don't have to forward it manually, right? So this is what our Facebook login is. Now this is my username, hacker, right? And 123, I'm going to type my password 123. Why I'm not able to type? Acha. No, it is actually loading. So it is saying that wrong credential, right? Now by default, if I log in it, it's saying that wrong credential. It is testing, right? It is testing, and by default we have turn off our intercept, so we are not intercepting it. It takes some times, right? By default we cannot add a minus here, or we can add a minus here. Yeah, we can add a minus. We can add minus here, but what if we try to log in it? Again, it is going to check, right? Now, how the request is going on, we don't know, right? How the request is going on. If you want to know how the request is going on, then we have to go in network tab. Got it? Or we have to use curl, right? Now, if we type minus, it is saying that sorry, something went wrong. Why it is saying? Because Facebook block Facebook blocks minus symbol, right? Got it? So what we can do is we can simply capture this request, and instead of typing minus here, we can type it from our proxy. So I'm going to turn on my intercept, and I'm going to intercept this request. So here I have the request. So here we have the URL, and we know what is post, right? So here we have the post data here. Now we have to find where is our data. So here we have a password predefined false. We have to go through all this thing one by one. We have to read this thing, right? So we have here profile contact hacker and profile browser, this thing we have to find here. Okay, now this is one request. We can send it, we can forward it, and here we have other request also. This is also from Facebook. We can see here what we have. We have the age, body, this type of color. Now we have already learned this thing, right? How data directly goes, right? In what type of format? So can anyone tell me what type of format is this? We have learned this thing. Yes. Okay, this is a JSON format. Okay, and that is the reason why I ask you revise everything for the class. So we can forward this request again. Again, this is from Facebook. We have this thing, right? Now we have this thing. Again, we can forward. Again, we can forward. So this is how we can analyze each and every request that are going from our browser to Facebook server. Okay. Now here in this time, saying invalid username or password. Got it? So any confusion here? How we use intercept? Anyone? Any confusion? Okay, so let's do one question. Okay. Now I'm going to use the lab, right? So lab, no. Okay, I don't know if you practice it or not, but we have this lab, right? We cannot, if I enter cat or anything, I'm not able to write it, right? I can only write one letter, and if I hit ping, it shows error. Please enter a number. So I cannot write any alphabet here. I have to write the number. Now, if I ping it after writing the number, I receive this thing, right? In order to read the flag, I have to capture this thing, and I have to use one command that are used or that is used in Linux to read some files. Let's say we have some files here, right? So I can simply read the this file cat and this. So this is the command I have to run to read the file, right? And in our case, we have to run this command. And what the file we want to we want to view, that is flag, right? Yeah, flag.txt, right? So this is what we have to run. But the problem is we not able to enter, or we not able to type any characters here, right? So in this case, what we can do, so this is only the browser restriction, right? Because browser run HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and JavaScript implements this type of restrictions. So JavaScript and browser stop us to do this thing. So what we can do, we can simply intercept this request and we can do whatever we want. So this is our intercept. I'm going to turn on the intercept, and first I intercept this thing. Now here is in my it is in my interception tab. Now I'm left click on it. I have this type of option, right? I'm simply going to send this thing in repeater. So this is the repeater, and I'm going to turn off this thing. Now this is what the repeater is. Repeater simply repeat the request multiple times. Okay, got it? So I don't have to capture the request again and again. I don't have to go back here, type here, and again capture the request, again capture the same request. I don't have to do this thing. I just have to simply send once, capture the request in repeater. Now here we have the repeater, right? Now here we can write anything, whatever we want. Got it? Here we have two options: pretty, raw, hex, render. By default, the render is disabled, so it is totally depends on the web format. And this is how our response look like, right? We have learned this thing in our curl section. Got it? Now cat and flag.txt, right? .txt. If I hit enter, we'll see. If I hit enter, we'll see some response. It's taking some time, so we can provide the space here. Cancel this, again send this. Again, it is taking some time. Here we have 200, okay, right? But it didn't provide us the flag. Got it? Let me do this thing. Let me remove number one also. So we have to try this type of things, okay? Again, it is not showing us the response, like the flag. Now, why it is not showing the flag is because we have two commands here. One is IP number one, and then we have a two. The second command is cat.flag, right? Now, in Linux, if you want to run two commands, let's say ls and uh, ls and cd, right? So this is a two command, right? ls and cd. If I hit enter, Linux don't understand this thing. Got it? If I ls, I have this thing. If I cd desktop, I have this thing, right? In order to run two commands, I have to provide separator. So this is what the separator is. Semicolon, okay? Or colon. Then cd and then desktop. Then we have the, let me copy the desktop. cd space and paste it, right? Now, just be careful here, okay? If I hit enter, now I am inside the desktop, right? So this is how we can run two commands at once, okay? Now here we are we have to run two commands, but we are using this IP and the cat, and this is the reason why it is not showing us the response. So we have to use the separator, right? So this is, yeah, this is what the separator is, and this is the other command. So first it runs this command, second it runs this command. If we just simply close, or if you just simply send it, it is saying that bad request. Right now, why it is saying bad request? Anyone? Why it is showing bad request? Hmm? We don't know, right? Why it is showing bad request. So what we can do is simply click left on response, click left. We have whole bunch of things. Now we have to use this request, no, not decoder, request in browser, right? So in original session, so what it's going to do, it is going to show us the response in browser. There are something, right? We have learned this thing in our curl session, that there are something that can only run in browser, that can only run in uh, the interception tab only. Okay, so let's try to run this. Paste the URL and hit enter. Now it is saying that the page isn't work. Simply it means that the request is what? Request time is out. Okay, we cannot make the request since every request has their own time, right? Now again we have to do the same thing. So this is what our request is. Again in repeater, I'm not going to turn off the interception, not going to turn off the intercept. Okay. So this is our new request. Let's try to use this request. Now it is perfectly working, right? So we have to do the command cat flag.txt. If I hit enter, here we have the flag, right? This is how we run, this is how we ran different commands, right? Browser don't allow us to run this command, but using proxies we run this command. And this is how we check the feature. Okay, now next what we have to do, next we have to check how we can capture the response. This is only for the request, right? Next what we have to do, we have to check how we can capture the response. Okay, so any doubt here? No, right? Aryan, any doubt? Okay, so today what your task is to go through the this lab, right? Replicate the same lab, practice the same lab, and yeah, please don't forget to watch the http videos where we learn what is curl, right? you have to you have to seriously do some hard work at your own, right? So I recommend you to do the hard work at your own. Then only you can learn this thing, because these are the technical thing. And when the time pass, we move in next level, right? We have to jump from this level to other level, and I want you to be prepared for that level, right? In previously, we don't have the skill assessment, right? But here we have the skill assessment. You have to pass the skill assessment, and for that you have to practice this thing. And yeah, go through this thing, go through this thing also. How we capture the response in burp, you can watch the videos also, right? If you watch the videos, and whenever we are doing the same thing in our next class, then you got to know, okay, this is the doubt that I have to ask. Okay, so please do this thing. Got it? And I'm going to give you the labs also. Now the request one is you have done, right? For response one, I'm going to show you how we can capture the response, right? Intercept is on, right? I'm going to again send this, just please be careful. Now here I have the request. This is the request. Left click on it, and here we have this thing. Send to repeated, we have only seen the repeated, and we have this thing also. If we go down, here we have don't intercept the host, to intercept response to this, right? It simply means that our tool is going to intercept the response. If I do this, if I forward this, then here we have the response from this. Okay, is this clear? Yeah, don't mute yourself, everyone. Don't mute it. Okay, so I'm first going to capture the request, right? We know how to capture the request, right? This is our request. If we right click on it, we have these options, right? Here we have this option, don't intercept the request, and we have do intercept the request, right? Now we have do intercept response to this request. It simply means we want to intercept what is the response as per this host. Host means the website. Now if I select it, I just have to forward this, and this is the response. Okay, got it? We have this response. I can change the response also. Let's say what happen if I delete this thing, or what happen if I change this thing from 200 to 300, and I delete the OK. I delete this thing also. Now if I send this to my browser, let me see what happens. So again, it shows me the same thing, right, that I added. So this is how we can change request and response. Got it? So I'm going to give you the lab for request and for response. You have to practice this, right? So this is your lab for response. Sorry, this is your lab for request, right? Replicate same thing, learn what we have in Burp, do the hands-on, and I'm going to share you the lab. Okay, do the hands-on, and if you are done with this, you can simply ping me a message in WhatsApp group, and then I'm going to share you second lab that is for response. Okay, so please do this thing. Okay, so before we wrap up the class, do you have any question? Okay, so please practice the lab, huh? Okay, and thank you for joining the class.